This episode of 1v1, the Creator Interview Series, is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support this show and the Boss Rush Media family of podcasts, head over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia or search for us on the Patreon app on your smart device. Thanks for helping us build something better.
So you mentioned Mario and the arcade scene and definitely Tekken, which is funny because Tekken 8 is coming out this year. And I'm sorry, everybody. I feel like Tekken 8 is going to be better than Street Fighter 6. Now, I haven't played the demo for Street Fighter 6 yet. I was, I've been watching the trailers that's been coming out and the sound, paying attention to how hard-hitted you get, like when they hit everybody. I'm like, you're breaking backs in this mind. And like sound effects, they are hitting hard. And plus Tekken 8 looks gorgeous.
Yeah. That's one thing. That's literally the two games that I'm focused on. Like, I'm going to be playing Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8. I mean, like, because people ask me what I'm going to play, and I'm like, I want to do something that is, I can feel like I can grow in and get good at. And, I know people out there are going to, bust my behind when I do go online and start playing. But I feel like the customization of Street Fighter 6, like the demo's going crazy because it's like people are enjoying the game that much. Even like all the aspects of like the surrounding, like one of the cool things on Street Fighter 6 that I saw someone talk about, and I was like, oh yeah, that's dope. When I saw the video, it's like when you start fighting, one, you can fight people in the crowd, which is like you can fight random people while you're walking around. And then two, when you fight those people, the crowd starts to form and it's like, oh, we're looking at a real fight in the street. So I just think like little things like that is dope. So yeah, like I'm going to be a part of the FGC Heavy when both of those games drop. I'm going to be on it.
Who did you think between Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8, who do you think is going to have the more appeal? Do you think Street Fighter 6 is going to do it or Tekken 8 is going to do it? And the reason I ask is because Tekken 8 is running on Unreal Engine 5, and this doesn't look as technical as the earlier games in here.
I mean, just off that, honestly, I feel like I'm personally more excited for Street Fighter just off of the new, things that they put into the game. It's always easy to, up the graphics, or it's not easy, but anyone can up the graphics of a game and make the gameplay this or that. But it's like, I love seeing, the developers make something new that is traditionally been one way. They're adding new modes to it, making it exciting. A lot of things that we you hear gamers talk about it all the time. They didn't update the game, or this is the same, this is the same type of game, last year's was, or so on and so on. It's like, so when they do something new and make it, exciting again, it's like I'm kind of ready for Street Fighter 6, just off of the customization alone. Not that Tekken doesn't have customization. Tekken does, but I'm talking like I can make my own character, like my own personal character. Like that's what I love. If I can create a character in a game, that game gets like, I don't know, a boost in points on my enjoyment level if I can create my own person.
So let's talk about custom creation. How big are you for it? When it comes to creating a character in the game, because definitely for me, when I play games, I always try to make them look like me, but I give them a bald head. I make sure like their eyes are now, because my eyes are dark. I usually give my characters now yellow eyes and everything. So I try to look that way, but like back in the early 2000s when me and my friends was playing SmackDown and everything,
Uh-huh.
uh, we would try to make our characters the most goofiest looking characters, but make them like powerful and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, 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 yeah. No, man. First of all, I have been making my own characters since Madden '95. Like
Oh wow!
seriously, like no, like seriously, I've been creating characters forever in whatever game that can do it, especially the sports game. So, like to your point, a lot of times when I would make my characters, if I can customize it, especially skin color, all the things I do. A lot of times I make them look like me, different versions of myself.
Yes.
Especially on the sports games where like 2K, for instance, if you're going to create a character on there, like you can really customize. That's like a really good avatar that they've made on 2K with a lot of customization options. So it's like things like that is fun. And I think that adds another layer to gaming as a whole because it gives people like if I can be in the game, that's the next best thing to put my own personal touch into the game and play with my character and represent myself and my style and really it's an indication of what you would do if you were actually in that game. Like if I was
Mhm.
in this game, this is how it would look. Like I so you get that. You get that. So I think it's fun when games make it so they have a really good customization.
Yeah, that's good. I know like Saints Row the Third is probably one of my biggest customization because it's just like how do I make this character not only look like me or I have an idea of me, but also have the style with me with the clothes and everything, like and
And
it's
you can
kind
be
of
goofy in that game.
yes, you can. And it's so weird that games nowadays, like when it does to customization, a lot of us really don't spend time for it, spend time on
Hmm.
it. Like we want to get into the game. And
Right, right.
do you think that in order to have the right character that you're satisfied with, you need about an hour to do it to create that character?
It depends on like okay, so that's a trick question because are we talking this aesthetics or are we talking about you get to play with some stats or
You
like
you you're playing with
because
stat.
if you if
Go
you
ahead.
if you got to do the whole shebang, I don't know, an hour that's a little quick. That's a little quick. I'm for instance, 2K alone, I would spend, man, I don't know how much time just trying to make the most powerful person depending on body type and width
Mhm.
and height and weight. Uh, so it's like I that's playing the game to me. Like, would you agree? Like that's
Yes.
still hours on the game. That like we might not be I don't know, playing the main game, but the
Yes.
customization is an enjoyable part of the game. So I know I've spent time, making new characters, customizing. So I love that aspect. But I'm a builder. I like building. Uh, I like building things or characters or whatever way, as long as I can try to like,
Oh,
if I can find something to grow
yes.
I love it. So if I can do that with a character on a game, it's the same thing because we all know you have to level up to get certain abilities and things like that. All that's customization, you know. So
Yes.
I love it. We haven't even touched on Grand Theft Auto, like the extreme customization of Grand Theft Auto, the realism that goes behind it too. Yeah, so it's like people. That's why we have role playing, right? Like that's
Exactly.
customization.
Yeah. Uh, you said you like building things, and Roller Coaster Tycoon comes to mind. And me and Corey, we have this, we have this love for the series, but we disagree on Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 because I love 3, but
Okay.
I don't love it for the campaign stuff. I love it because I could build my own roller coasters. And that's all I want. I don't want no money attached to what I build. I want to just make my roller coaster and show it off. And Corey is just like, no, if I get into the game, I want to build a park. And I don't care
He
what the
wants to
money
play the
is.
game. Yeah.
Exactly. And so we're on a and that's a game that we one of our loves yet disagreeable games. is that we love Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, but we
Mhm.
disagree on parts of it because he loves the campaign and not the
Yeah,
playground, and vice
yeah.
versa for me.
It's funny because I'm aware of Roller Coaster Tycoon, but I've never played it myself. I've never played it myself, and I play in, not to make myself sound older than what I am, but it had to be on like Windows 95. This is in the back
Mhm.
of my church at the time. They had SimCity on like Windows 95.
Yeah,
So me as a kid, I'm sitting there and I got myself hooked on it once I started learning how to actually make the city and actually connect everything to make it come alive, and
yeah.
like I accidentally learned how to make it so the people, once I put the building in the house and gave it electricity and gave it water, and now people are moving around. Like, I think honestly that was one of my earliest forms of like a building, you know, type of game that I got hooked on. And then I said this in when I last time I was on Boss Rush. One of my favorite games to this day is on my computer right now, and I randomly pull it up, is Warcraft 3. Literally
Yes.
Warcraft 3. So I get the night elves, and it's if you think about it, it's another customization. It's more building for me, but it's like obviously it's speed building. Like, what? All right,
Mhm.
I need to get my base. I need to get my my army together, and then I need to go search, and I need to protect. And I love that because it's building and managing and real time decisions. I love that type of stuff, and ironically, that's how my life is now in real life. So yeah, I really truly enjoy those types of games. The last one that I picked up randomly was Jurassic World. It's
Yeah.
I don't know if it's called Jurassic World. I'm sorry, people who made the game, but it's a Jurassic Park game, and it's you're building the park
Mhm.
and setting it like I popped that in, and I was like, oh yeah, this is fun. I went back to Warcraft, and I was like, that was fun. I love all those types of games. So yeah, I've
It Uh, no, it amazes me talking about building and crafting characters because, like, shout out to Laron from Crossroads and Boss Rush. He is, I always call him the Gunner Hunter because he, to me, is the professor and professional of Monster Hunter. And he'll
okay,
grind
yeah.
till he gets what he needs to get his character looking good. And I see his characters and I'm just like, what in the world? I'm like, how do I get to that? And realize
Right.
that you have to put in the work in order to get it. And I think for me, it's just like, but I don't want to put in the work. I want give me the requirements. And I think that's why, when I even play Horizon and everything, I'm just like, why do I have to craft this stuff to get this armor? And that means I gotta keep going here, I gotta go here. And they don't, and I think it's, to me, it's just like, I would do it if you made it easier and
Right.
everything. But if you realize when you're crafting and you're playing simulate building simulators and that it's not easy, because like you mentioned, in real life something could always go wrong. You could always be ready and be prepared, and something would never go right.
If you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia, and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support.
100%. And you brought up a good point, or made me think of this. My best friend, when Red Dead came out, Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
Uh, Another game that you can customize. We were playing, and he's like I don't know, he's like a task oriented person. So he was going and basically just making money from going and hunting and selling the skins and the meat, and like he would he he would sit there and do that for I don't know how long. And I am not the type of person that I can just sit there and do. I want to go and I want to get it popping. I want to start shooting. I want to start doing missions. I need to do something. But he will
Yes.
sit there and go back and forth, selling and hunting like it's a real job. And then I get mad when he has all the money, all the items, and now he has all these extra things. So now when it's time to actually go and do the fun stuff that I want to do,
Hmm.
now he's having more fun because he put in the work to get all the materials to get better this and that. So I'm like, okay, I guess I see. I got to remember that at the end of the work, it's actually a funner time. But I'm like you, I just give it to me. Just give me the guns. Just give me. Can I just have it? I don't want to. You do that. I don't want to do
Right.
it. I don't want to. I don't want to grind for it. Just give it to me.
And I think I could understand, like, my mom, she's a big Animal Crossing player. She had
Okay.
Animal Crossing for Wii, and I came home from work and I, just popped in, see what she was playing, and she was checking her bank account. Chris, when I tell you that my mom had 3 billion bills, I'm like,
You
how do
said
you even
You said billion
three
with a B.
billion with a B?
Wow.
I was just like,
What's she doing? Beating up Tom Nook?
she she was just like, she
Hustling
hustled that
Tom.
she hustled that fruit like it was no tomorrow, because she was just
Wow.
like, she would get the fruit. They found out on how to plant and stuff, and then when she got other fruit from different towns and stuff, she would plant them. She had a whole garden, was selling them, just like, oh, I'm
That's
just
dope.
making. She had her whole house paid off, no, about, I think, within a week. And
Wow.
you had to do three payments to have like your whole house paid off. She had that done, and I'm like, you you are you're a
A
gamer.
beast. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. No,
She's just
that's
like,
that's hilarious, man. I got Animal Crossing because I don't know if you remember during the pandemic, Wii's they were like,
Switch.
yo, Switch. I'm sorry, Switch. Switches were like not in store. Like no one could find them, and people were trying to even
Hmm.
get like the smaller ones. But I already had an Rick. Like I have a full Switch with the deck and everything. So I'm like, I started seeing all the stuff with Animal Crossing. So I go and get it. I never played any type of like Animal Crossing ever. So this is my first like chill kind of this live your life game. Man,
Yes.
I love that thing. I wish I still have it, but I wish that like I'm not even popping in because I'm thinking about how fun it was. It was just like a nice, relaxing game. Worried about the elements, worried don't get stung by bees and pay off your bill.
Yeah.
Like it's like that type of stuff is cool, and that's another customization. Like so, she had a house, but like you can customize everything in there. So I'm sure, like she had a dope design,
Oh,
that she spent time on. So
yeah.
it's if you think about it, there are a lot of games and genres that incorporate customization. It's a huge part, but I think that if people really, really just gave free will to everybody and let them, go at it, I think the games would be even better.
Yes, which leads us to the Black Gamer League, and the reason why is just like, you are the founder of the Black Gamer League, and I kind of want to give you this time or in the space to talk about it, and let people know what it's all about. So, Chris, how did you find the Black Gamer League?
So, really, I'm a professor as well, and my computer's randomly doing a epic update. I hope this doesn't mess anything up. Sorry,
Nope,
Ed.
you're all good.
Are we good? You still
Yeah,
hear
you're
me?
good. Yep,
All right, all
go
right.
ahead.
So, okay, uh, I'll start over. So, it all starts with me, being a professor. So, I've been a professor of sport management for going on my 7th year, completing my 7th year this year. And thank you. So I was teaching about esports. Once I figured out that people were really making a living, not just from playing the games, but actually being in the industry, I was trying to expose my students to that knowledge, because all my students are, they're gamers just like me. They, but they don't know, or they didn't know, prior to me teaching about esports in class, that they could make a career out of it, or that the skills that they were getting in college could translate to something that could be in the gaming, industry. So once I figured that out, I made Force Management Group, because I basically knew that if my students didn't know this information about how to leverage esports or leverage gaming for, a career, that people in the industry, I wonder how much they know or how much they are doing for themselves to, make their brands and grow into the gaming space. So Force Management Group was made basically as that content creator management agency. So I had a number of creators, and as I'm working with creators and teaching about esports at my college, I'm seeing a whole bunch of I'm being exposed to Black content creators, Black gamers. I'm seeing that there was a lot of us out there, but one, we're not all talking. We don't really know each other. We don't. So like, I'm thinking about support. I'm thinking about, a foundation for, Black people playing. I'm not seeing the representation. I'm not seeing the representation in the industry, as a whole. I'm thinking like, I'm a Black gamer. I know other Black gamers that are my friends. Like, I know I play with games with people in school, but like, how many of us are out there, and how many of us are doing things in the industry? So I was interested. So I was just like, I'm going to make a Facebook group. And I thought of a name. I'm good with names. I thought of a name, and I was just like, Black Gamer League, like based off of the Justice League. That, I don't think I've ever said that on an interview. Honestly, that's where it came from. So a lot of people had the thought that Black Gamer League meant there was specifically a league for Black people to compete in, which we're doing that now. But that's what we evolved to. But at the time, it was this is like, we're a Black gamer group. That doesn't sound as good as Black Gamer League. So I made it as a networking community, and kind of like a chill spot to try to connect more Black people that game, see what we like to do, and just have fun together. After, I would say, I started that in 2018, Black Gamer League. That's when I started the group. After a while, I moved back to Twitter for professional reasons. And then I noticed that the reach on Twitter to find like-minded people was extremely far, compared to what I could just do on Facebook. Facebook was a little difficult, but you could easily find people talking about your topic or similar interests on Twitter. So I made a Black Gamer League group, or Black Gamer League Twitter page, and that's when we really started like becoming who we are, and getting involved with the gaming space. So I was following all Black people, all Black gamers, I didn't want to, I wasn't trying to get followers, but I wanted to be into the space. So I followed a huge number of Black gamers, and started seeing what we were all about and what we do, and the different topics in the space. And it became serious in a way quick, because I saw how important it was for representation, and for developing and helping other people in the space. So as we grew on Twitter, we grew through connections, we met people. I started speaking more on representation in gaming, being our own table, as far as Black African American, people of color. I think that it's been, like I said, it's been a good journey, of developing who we are. We went from just being a Facebook group with friends and other people, to now being able to speak internationally, being able to pair my work with uh, my academic studies and my academic presentations, and really making this ecosystem of being at the trying to be up at the forefront of, helping and finding our way in the industry, and helping our people continue to thrive and to celebrate our people as well. So now we are partnering with people, partnering with organizations, partnering with schools to teach about the esport industry, teach about the options. So it's, I'm basically pairing everything up in my life. It's all kind of one big circle of gaming and education in different forms. So I just want to be one of those people, and make our organization one of those organizations that can keep having impacts in the industry far and beyond where we are now. So yeah.
I can admit that when it comes to black gamers, it's we have came a long way to this point.
Mhm.
And the reason I say that is not even for the representation in games, but when it came to black gamers, we were kind of in a sense stereotyped as sports gamers because of us playing football and basketball, and there
100%.
was sometimes be baseball or soccer or something, but our primary we were stereotyped as football and basketball. And I feel like now with the Black Gamer League that um it expands us in a way, and definitely with esports becoming a thing, we I can still tell you now that I'm still in the dark about esports, and it's not because I didn't go and look out for it to get the information or anything. It's just
Mhm.
like nobody was covering it, nobody was talking about it, and if you did find about it, it was on ESPN. Well, they're doing it on a Saturday where nobody's probably at home to
Mhm.
watch, like it took it to evil to actually see me this, for me to learn a little bit about esports and stuff. And
Mhm.
I know people were doing PC with like Call of Duty and Battlefield and all of those and the multiplayer shooters. But like for us as black gamers at the time, we weren't into that or anything. We were more ready to see some college football or something, or be at our school sports thing to watch something on TV where they're playing video games in a sense.
I think it's just one of those things that it is what it is. It's a cultural, you know, it's about our culture essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Like our culture is, um, we're not saying when we say things like this, we're not saying that all black people did the same thing, or that you didn't do something. We know there are people in the gaming space. We know that there are black people that were you know ahead of their times in representation, and what they've done for the gaming industry themselves. I know there's history behind that, so it's not that we haven't been there, but culturally and traditionally, we weren't just able to necessarily sit and play games, especially on systems, not systems, but setups, PC
Yes.
setups. We that's not a traditional thing. That's something that's caught more steam in the last 20 years, I'd say. So I think that now we are in a place where we still love our sports games. I love my sports games, right? We still love our sports games. We still love the kind of, I guess, at this point, the stereotype games. Like they're good games, but that
Yes.
doesn't mean that because we love those games that you can, you know, only claim that we're not gamers, or that that we don't play anything else. We can play all the genres, all of
Yeah.
them, and it doesn't even matter. Even if I did play sports games and that was all I did, it doesn't matter. I'm a gamer. Period. Like
Yes.
period. So I think that it's just I think it's our cultural thing that has affected, oh, what type of games we can play. Oh, we don't do that, or these aren't the things we're used to, or the environments we're used to. Being in esports, esports has been around, but I think one of the biggest things, like you said, is this exposure. People know about esports when they're in the esports scene, but as far as
Mm-hmm.
what esports is trying to do as an industry, is trying to gain the actual real traction that traditional sports do. So it's not this necessarily running off of funding in or inconsistent funding. I'll say that. That's why we're experiencing another bubble with esports where you're seeing mass layoffs from these different organizations because there's now real money coming in because what esports is built off of right now, the model that is built off is not sustainable. So it's all about now people and organizations figuring out how to actually create sustainable models for esports and to find a way that it can, better, going back to our people, there's 1,000 different ways that we can try to figure out the better the esports situation and also our own situations in the gaming industry by creating opportunities. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's because I could say this, and I know I might get some flack for it. When it comes to the Game Awards and they do like the esports nominees and teams and stuff, people don't vote on that because of like we don't know who these folks are or
True.
anything, And I think with if esports is, I feel like if esports is going to come be bigger, I think they're gonna have to jump out the genre of just being first person shooters or Fortnite or Call of Duty. Like Nintendo, I love you as a company, but I want you to team up with some people and let them do Mario Kart tournaments.
Mhm.
Let them do Splatoon stuff. Like I'm for that. Let them be Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom run and see who could
Mm,
build the most craziest monsters, who could like get through some stuff. And some people might say, well, that's game stuff quickly, and that's fine. But like I would love to see the creativity from different teams of them all working together and making something like big and everything, and just be out of the genre of just first person shooters or anything that's online only. Like I want to see Nintendo actually get into esports and expand it and allow us to watch it or allow us to participate. I'm fine to be like, hey, if you want to join the stream, $5. I'll pay $5 so I can watch this exclusive stream and see the craziness that folks would get so I could laugh, so I could be hyped, and
mhm.
then not only would that encourage people to go get the game, I'll go get some shirt, some merch, and to be like, oh, Black Gamer League is in the Splatoon team. Oh yeah, I'm on it,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah,
do
yeah,
that,
yeah.
and
I,
and go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say you brought up an amazing idea because at the same time, esports, if it's going to mirror traditional sports, you have to know that there are levels to the sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, traditional sports, basketball, football, soccer, baseball, right? Those are sports, but there are 1,000 other sports, right? That are sports, but they're different, right? Or you go into these are semi-traditional. You still like you have golf, you got swimming, you got track and field, you got wrestling, you
Mm-hmm.
got boxing, and then you got cricket, you got water polo. Those are all sports, and those are all broadcast to their people that want to see those sports. There are people that know all about those sports, know all about the industry, knows all about the players. You are literally saying if esports is going to really thrive as an industry, expand the amount of sports that you're offering because there's other people that want to see these sports. If I'm want to if Nintendo gets their life together and makes it a competitive
Right.
scene, a real one, a backed one, who's not going to want to see that? That's another sport. So I might not be the Call of Duty, the football or the Fortnite. I might not be the big titles that are seen as esports, but that doesn't mean another title can't be as relevant as those esports and still be classified as esports. So
Right. I mean,
I like it. I like
like
it.
man, like of course we will all watch Smash. Like we're all there for the Smash competition, and depending on which one they want to bring, like if they bring Melee, that's going to just do big. But I'm like Nintendo, you have enough games to help create esports, and some of the indies too. A Overcooked esports team. Oh, I will watch that because I want to laugh at all these people getting together trying to beat the other team. Oh, I know Corey. He would tune in to a Tetris esports team. 4 player, 8 player versus. I mean,
I'm gonna
Tetris
set it up.
99. Oh goodness, yes.
I'm gonna
A
set it
Tetris,
up. You get
a
look.
Tetris, a Tetris 99 esports team, and it would be some of the most bunkers stuff, but like bunkers in a way that is amazing, but you're like kind of into it. You are on your knees and toes. Not knees and toes, hands and feet, trying to be like, okay, who's gonna win? Who's gonna make the four? Who's gonna get the
Yeah,
Tetris? Like, and there's so
yeah.
many opportunities that's there, and I think definitely from a black perspective, we have people who play those games.
And if
You know,
if a game is, if you can compete in a game, you can make it esports. You can make brackets. You can make tournaments.
Mhm.
As long as there's a competition factor within the game, anything can be played. And honestly, that's not even true. Like you said, if we're just going to do speed runs, that's in itself is a competition, right? So,
Right.
I might not be going against someone necessarily in the game, but I you just brought up the fact of the night. There's a whole lot of things we can do with esports, and if we really wanted to be successful, we just have to think outside of the box and start doing new things. And that's when, honestly, the big companies, they're not going to do stuff if it doesn't necessarily quote unquote make money to them or make sense. CENTS, like but small organizations like myself, grassroots organizations, we can throw these smaller tournaments, and that's how it really picks up steam. So
Right.
I'm messing around, and now we doing an Overcooked 2 tournament, and now it catches on. Like, but that's a real possibility. Like, it's like
Yeah.
people don't know what they necessarily enjoy until they see it sometimes. So, oh, there's a Overcooked 2 tournament. Like, they intriguing. Like, people can be intrigued off just that. So, it's fun to think about things like that, but that's a possibility, and it makes
Yeah, and
sense.
and I think a lot of companies are definitely indie companies, but definitely pay attention and stuff. And it's more just like watch from afar before you jump anything and sponsors and
Yeah.
DMCA, and just like watch from afar and watch how people take your, I won't say product, but take your game and play it the way that they love to play it, that it's allowed to them. Definitely with the communication. Cause like think about people think about an esports team, people who work in the restaurant uh industry versus
Hmm.
people who know nothing about the food industry,
Got
but
an
they love to
advantage.
play games, right? And like and just watch them do a 4 versus 4 of who could serve the people the best or who could last longer. Last long. Now,
Hmm.
the people in the restaurant industry, they may not know how to play games, but you give them some time to practice and everything. They be like, oh, that's how you. No, we used to do this at my job. So let me see if that. Oh, that skill works in the game. Okay, let me. Okay, you guys talked about it, and then throw that on just a 1 hour like eShow presentation. Just be like, we
Hmm.
have the food industry versus gaming industry or gamers and stuff,
Hmm.
and just see
Hmm.
them literally go at it and be like, who? Because I think people be like, well, the turn, this is where I place my money on. I normally just say my Yoshi coins are going to this team and stuff,
My
just
Yoshi
for fun,
coins. Yeah.
and just watch and see how it goes down. And no matter who wins or who loses, it's gonna probably be the funniest thing because you hear everybody communicate and you just see
Yeah.
how people work and stuff. And that would be enjoyable to me. I'd be like, man, team Team Red Lobster, they clown. Team Grocery Store, they weren't able to do anything, but
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
their own and stuff. Like people will be into that in a sense.
Well, they'll be into it because it's relatable. Like,
Yes.
oh, they're playing. I'm a root for them. They're regular people playing the game. Like, I'm a regular person and I love playing that game too. So it's like you do something like that, it would actually like work because people like relating to the entertainment they see. So you know, if I love Red Lobster, I'm for sure going for Team Red Lobster. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, beat them.
Right.
Like I'm going for y'all, and it's fun because it's like it kind of speaks to the importance of gaming and how gaming can bring all types of people together. You know?
Right. And even though we're talking about video games, Pokemon tournaments, Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments with the card games and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's still important because I would love because I want to go to one and just see it from the outside so I can learn. So I could be like, oh,
Hmm.
this is why everybody is hyped for it. They got the Overwatch tournaments where they're clapping the things. But I'm
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
shoot, I want to see like a professional Uno card game straight go at it and be like, oh
Yeah, yeah,
man. Like
yeah.
and Deborah got Tommy. Hey, you should have played that wild card because her.
That's
But
funny.
no, you tried to save it. She hit you with that draw
Mhm.
for it. Like I would love to see something like that.
It's funny. It's funny you say that in the Charlotte area where I'm at. I didn't know anything about like the board game scene or the card scene. Like it's serious. Like people meet up. They play straight board games. Like and it's
Yeah.
like it's serious. You know what I'm saying? Like I had no clue about that world, so that even interests me. But it just goes into the like people are going to find what they enjoy and they're going to find people to do it with. So any games of any form are going to do that.
Yes. Um. Well, I won't keep you too long. We talked about uh fighting games, and
Yeah.
everything. Uh, can you give me your top 5 fighting games?
Top 5 fighting games. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna I'm just gonna go down memory lane and tell you the ones that I for sure played, had the most time on. Street Fighter Alpha. The reason why I played Street Fighter Alpha as much as I did was during those years of being in arcade. Uh, I was getting into it. I was watching the anime. Like you remember the Street Fighter movie? Psh, love
Yes.
that. So I think I saw in a magazine or something where it was just talking about how good Street Fighter Alpha was. And I think I almost thought it was like a new Street Fighter. I was just green. I didn't know any better. So I went and I got it. And I just, because of what I saw in a magazine talking about how great it was,
Hmm.
that was one of the first ones that I just spent time on because like I wanted to get good at Street Fighter. And I had played other Street Fighters. So I think Alpha was on, and I don't want to get
Alpha,
it mixed up.
Alpha was on PlayStation.
PlayStation 1, right?
Yep.
Yes, yes. Alpha was on PlayStation 1. And I had played Street Fighter, I think, 2 a lot on Super Nintendo.
Yep.
Like I remember it. Didn't it? I think it had did it
Yeah.
have
Word.
Sagat?
Yep. Okay. So Word Warriors was the eight players. When you got Turbo Edition, which had all 12 of them,
And
and
I had
then
Turbo for
okay, that's
sure.
the one. Yes.
Yes, yes. So I had already been playing because of that. So Alpha was the first one, and then I got on Tekken. Don't remember what Tekken it was. I cannot remember. I'm trying to think of there's something like I can. I wish I was one of those people that could say, yeah, yeah. Geez, I really wish I could say something distinctive that would make me remember. Tekken Tag. Tekken Tag was one that I loved. I
Nice.
loved Tekken Tag. And my characters, I would always use Eddie Gordo and then Jin. So I'm a martial artist. So Jin and Cosmos, they have my actual style. So like I got my traditional martial arts that I did, not
Mm.
my MMA, but like I did traditional Japanese Wataru karate, basically Shotokan. So I'm a black belt in Wataru karate, and Jen, and I've been training since I was like 3.
Excuse me, everybody. I have fallen in love with this man. I just like, I love
So,
martial arts.
but
It's
Jen,
it's yeah.
And that's my life. I love well, was my life. But so Jen had our style, so I just loved that. I loved that about the game. Soul Calibur, I can't remember which one, but it was a Soul Calibur that I loved
It,
as well.
it has to be Soul
Uh,
Calibur 2 because Soul Calibur 2 was the game. Even so, Edge was like the beginning. Soul Calibur or Genesis was great. Soul Calibur 2 on GameCube was the game when it came to that
which
series.
one? Which one was on Xbox?
Soul Calibur 2 on Xbox had Spawn.
Did it have Spawn?
Hachi
Did
was
it have
in
Spawn?
was on PlayStation 2.
Hahachi. That's the one
Okay,
I had.
so you had PlayStation 2 because
Okay.
GameCube had Link and everybody
Okay.
loved
No, I
Link.
didn't have that. Okay. No,
Oh, you
I didn't have it on GameCube. No.
Oh, Chris, you have
I
missed
believe it. I believe
out.
it. I believe it. I
That's
believe
why,
it.
yeah, that's why people are trying to get Bandai Namco to like remaster it and put it on Switch and include the Link
Yeah.
one because a lot of people did not play the GameCube version and they were just like,
Right.
you need to play this version with Link. You'd be like, oh wow, and that's how the relationship between Nintendo and Bandai Namco, how they ended up creating Smash in the sense, the
Wow.
Smash
Wow.
Brothers.
Okay, history. That's what I like. Okay. Okay. Yeah. No. That's dope. That's a dope story. Yeah. I'm sitting here like you got me really thinking. Like what I really just noticed is like how many fighting games I've actually like. I'm low key in the FGC longer than I thought. Like but I didn't group myself into that. I didn't say I'm a part. So I never thought about it, but I'm really fighting games has been a big part of my history. Now that I'm actually thinking about it, did I give you three? Did I give you three? Was that
You gave
four?
me four. You gave me four.
Oh, Mortal Kombat. I've been playing Mortal Kombat since Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo was my
Yes.
first like system, right? It came with the Donkey Kong Country
Oh,
the
nice.
whole deluxe, right?
Yes.
That was my first memory. I got it for myself. I didn't get it for myself. I got it Christmas, like whatever year that was. So whatever year they had the special Donkey Kong package, that was
Mhm.
my first system, and I got games. So for sure, played Mortal Kombat. Any of the martial art games, I played like that. Do you remember like an old Bruce Lee game? It's like a Bruce Lee game. That did like his story. You might,
Yes.
man. I'm gonna start talking more because I feel good. I feel good. I got a little history. I need to start talking about this more because people think I just now started this game. So no, I got facts. I got facts. So yeah, man. No, so yeah. I think all the traditional titles I've really played because I played Tekken and the latest Tekken and the latest Street Fighter. So,
Mhm.
but I haven't done it consistently in years. It's because I literally play whatever I feel like whenever I feel like it. So, like when people ask me like, "What's your favorite game?" I'm like, I guess the basic stuff. But I really play everything. So, yeah, I think all the traditional and any of those other ones, I've been a part of it. I feel good. This is a good therapy session. Like you made me realize that I can talk a little bit in the FGC. So I'm gonna go tell my friends that are really in there that I got a little history that I uncovered today on the
Yeah.
interview.
Yeah, because back in the day, I was a big fighting game. For a lot of people who know that I grew up during the Atari and Nintendo day, NES days. But when it came to fighting games, yes, I played Street Fighter. I played Mortal Kombat. I played Killer Instinct, but I was also playing Fatal Fury, World Heroes. Samurai Showdown was like the game for like when SNK started making their own arcade cabinets. Even though I missed some of the some of them, I was just like, "Oh my goodness, this is a whole different world of fighting games." And then Sega got into the ring with Eternal Champions, and I was just like, "Sega's making their own fighting game? Okay, that's cool." And then yeah,
You know something else I just thought about, and I realized I've played certain games based off because like I said, martial arts is my life. So I
mm,
was looking at kung fu movies, I was looking at animes, Ninja Scroll when I was supposed to be looking at Ninja Scroll,
oh,
all those types of
I
things.
I
Huh?
watched Ninja Scroll on public access at the age of 8 or 9, or whenever that came up, because and I talked about this.
Oh,
uh there were some people in another city close to me who rented on Tuesday nights public access space to show anime. There was like an anime club.
wow.
So they showed Ninja Scroll. And then when I grew a little bit older, I rented Ninja Scroll because I remember seeing it, but it was just
Yeah.
like in better condition and stuff. I'm like, ah, okay, now I see
Then
why.
you saw the real Ninja Scroll.
Well, it was still the original one that I seen as a kid, but I would just like to actually get the story and remember everything.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
literally watched it when I rented it and stuff, and I love Ninja Scroll. Just
That's dope.
such a
Well,
good
I'm glad I
anime.
brought it up. I'm glad I brought it up. But so I was going to say, I played King of Fighters because I watched a movie with, I forget what it was, but it was like with Terry Bogard. Like that was the first
Fatal
time that I
Furry.
was boom. So what wasn't the movie called King of Fighters? Am I getting that
No, the
wrong?
movie. No, the movie is called Fatal Furry.
Okay,
King.
so I watched the Fatal Fury movie
Yep.
and then played King
King
of
of
Fighters.
Fighters.
Okay,
Yeah.
there we go. All right. So when I watched that movie, I love that movie, love Terry, and then like my friend, it was really my best friend at the time. I got to give him a shout out, Anthony. He was the person that was dragging me to the arcade side. He was really in FGC. He probably knew what the FGC was back then. So like, but he got me into all that. And he was like my anime source and all that. Obviously, he got me watching, and then I played. So I think a lot of the times I was playing just based off of like relating to the anime that I was like fighting, and I think that was really cool. I think that was cool. That's funny. Yeah, I gotta go talk to
Um.
him.
I
Let him
I
know he
know.
contributed.
I know one of the biggest ones is Marvel versus Capcom 2. You know, a lot of people
Yes,
hold
played
that
this too.
up and everything. Definitely Mortal Kombat 2. But to me, like a low key one that everybody missed was Tatsunoko versus Capcom on Wii.
Yeah,
And
I can say I know I didn't play that.
yes, and so that one changed the versus games because of the control. You know, you only
100%.
had three buttons and everything, but it was one game that like people were wanting begging for them to bring it to America because they couldn't do it because Tatsunoko has all of these anime characters and you had to license each one, and they said it was a
Mhm.
nightmare. But Capcom was able to do it. They was able to figure it out, and that game is so good. I actually got to play the Japanese version at like a
Yeah.
Dave and Buster's, and I was just like, now I know the difference between the USA version and the Japanese version, and I was
That's
so
dope.
cool with that. It's so good. Um, but then I also played games like Bloodstorm and
Mhm.
Primal Rage, and
Mhm.
like some of
Primal
the
Rage is Primal Rage is the John that you were going through the city with the monsters, right?
Yep, that was the Atari one. Yep, with the dinosaurs.
Yeah, that's
When
fire.
digitization was kind of the big thing, you also had games like Balls and Clay Fighter 63 and one third,
Mhm.
63 and three
You got that
fourths, even
knowledge.
Clay Fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, like used like fighting games were like the big thing, and I think there was a big transition
Mhm.
in gaming because at first for like the Super Nintendo era and everything, it was platformers slash shoot 'em ups, and then
Mhm.
fighting games started getting popular, and then fighting games became everything was the big thing,
Mhm.
and then it kind of moved into open world games, and then after open world games, it came first person shooters and everything. So you can see how certain genres were getting big and everything. And then
Yep.
Son of All, bro, literally, I think because of Switch, role playing games just blew up. Like
Yep.
RPGs,
Yep.
people were
Yep.
getting definitely into, and this is where Square Enix was like, "Oh, we are the king of RPGs. We can make some money off of this."
A hundred
So,
percent. 100%. Yeah. Yeah. I think this is. kind of cool to think about the history. I'm sitting there like in awe of like you have real like I love being around people that have real knowledge of gaming history. Like yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I could never do. I impressed myself today by bringing up some of my knowledge. Is because of you. You inspire me. But I love hearing and learning new things like that. That's dope.
Well, Chris, we're gonna bring this conversation to an end, but I do have to ask you, what is your breakfast cereal of choice? Like, what breakfast cereal that you just love to eat, whether it's for breakfast or not, but you just like, if you see it, it's in your presence, you can eat it. What is it?
Captain Crunch. Captain Crunch is horrible for you. It's horrible for you. Horrible for your teeth. Horrible for your gum. For your upper roof in your mouth, and it's horrible. But it tastes so good. It tastes so good. So that I try not to buy it because I'm trying to watch my shape. So I don't need to buy it because that's one of those cereals that I will literally, if I don't get a bowl, I'm a pour some out. I'm a get a scoop and just pop it, smack on it. And my daughters, they'll do the same thing. We'll tear a box up, a fresh box. It'll be gone. It'll be gone. And now I'm in trouble. Now I got to go back to the store. So Captain Crunch is usually what does it for me.
All right. Well, Chris, go ahead and plug where people can find the Black Gamer League, and if anything else you want to plug, you could go ahead.
Bet. All of our socials are Black Gamer League. Spelled BLK Gamer League after that. Twitch, twitch.tv/ the full Black Gamer League. A little confusing, but all of our links are together, so we'll make sure everyone gets it. We are this week actually. We will be starting our first of our monthly FGC. All this FGC talk perfectly goes into what I'm gonna say. We Black Gamer League is doing an Overdrive. It's called Overdrive League, and it's going to host Smash Brothers, Street Fighter, and then soon Street Fighter 6, and Tekken. Obviously Tekken 7, and then we'll transition to the games. But that's going to be monthly. So the Overdrive League is a monthly tournament series by the Black Gamer League. So if you are into Smash, Tekken, or Street Fighter, join us and get those victories, get those wins. We want to see it.
All right, Chris, thank you once again for joining me on this 1v1. I literally had a blast. I learned a lot about you. I didn't know you was into martial arts. Okay, before we leave, I have to address, where did you get the shirt at?
Oh, Black. Oh no, this is our merch. So what we're gonna do? We're bringing our merch back and amping it up. So when we drop the link, our merch is gonna be back. And hopefully everyone can get it and help us grow.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
I was just like,
hashtag,
okay.
Yeah. Hashtag Black GL. Matter of fact, this is how it's spelled on majority everything. Black Gamer League, BLK, and then Gamer League.
Yeah, because I was just like, okay,
yeah,
I need to order my shirt. I need to order my hoodie.
I got you.
I need to be ready.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, with that, everybody, have a great week. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on 1v1. Bye, everybody.
1v1, the Creator Interview Series, is a product of Boss Rush Media, LLC, and part of the Boss Rush Podcast Supplemental Podcast. This show is hosted by Celeste Roberts. You can also hear interviews from other Boss Rush Media members on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at FairyCrypt. To get updates on the latest episodes, follow the Boss Rush Podcast, Boss Rush Media, and Boss Rush Network on all major social media platforms, or subscribe to the Boss Rush podcast feed in your favorite podcast application. Join the Boss Rush Network Discord and Facebook groups to interact with other friends and fans. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.